Welcome back to another episode of Out of the Bubble. Hope you've all had a great week. This morning's guest is Alison Cline Williams. Alison started a new career in modelling aged 47, 7 months ago, and is determined as a black model to make changes in the industry. So she's joined up as an ambassador for Models of Diversity. If you don't know about Models of Diversity, then please go check them out because they are a fantastic organisation. They're a charity that really work within people in the fashion industry and the media to try and make representation more visible, because it's so important. For those that have listened to my previous podcast, you'll know that representation means so much to me, and it's something I'm really passionate about, because I think it's really important for everybody's mental well-being in society to feel represented. We need to be able to see black women in fashion magazines, we need to be able to see grey-haired women, we need to see women over 50, we need to see women over size 20, just so that we can all feel represented. So today's chat will be really interesting. I'm looking forward to what Alison's got to share with us. And also, I think it will resonate with lots of you about finding new passion and purpose later in life. So sit back, grab a coffee and enjoy. Oh, good morning, Alison. Thank you so much for joining me.
Good morning, Rachel. How are you?
I'm lovely, thank you. It's great to connect with you on here.
Oh, thank you very much for taking the time to speak to myself. And MOD, I appreciate it.
You're looking gorgeous this morning. Look at those cheeks.
Oh, thank you.
Envy.
You're looking good yourself.
Well, thank you very much. So, obviously, for people that don't know who you are, how do you introduce yourself to people?
Okay, so I introduce myself as Alison Cline Williams. I am a 47-year-old classic and plus size model, basically. Recently just started doing that about 8 or 9 months ago. I guess in the working world, I'm actually an ex-recruiter that's got HR experience, but modelling has been my passion. So I just thought I'd give it a go. So yeah, I've been doing that for about 8 to 9 months now.
I love it. And you have started modelling at a very similar age. I started at 46. And so I think it's a really exciting time to get into modelling. What you say you've always had this passion for it. What made you make the decision to really start trying to make a career out of it?
It's something that I've always wanted to do. My role models, I guess, were people like Naomi Campbell and her gorgeous mother, Valerie. It was something that back in the days, I guess, it was something that I've always wanted to do, but I was really unsure about how to go about it. Then, as I said, I saw Naomi, she got discovered when she was, 15. So it's something that I just thought, yes, you know what I mean? There's somebody like me that's representing, people. So let me give it a go. It wasn't really such a great start because at the time I was a size 14. So I was very curvy from a young age. But they always said to me, oh, no, you're too big. Because at the time it was all about size 0. So they basically just discounted me and said, you're too big to do modelling. So it was very sort of, when you're that sort of age, it's very sort of daunting to get rejected. It was just something that I just thought, okay, I'm never going to be able to do it. I'm getting told I'm too big. And I applied for quite a few agencies at the time, but no, nothing ever came to fruition. So I just put it on the back burner and just thought it's going to happen.
And how did that have, what impact did that have on your confidence, kind of being that rejected?
I mean, if I'm honest with you, it did sort of have a knock-on effect on my confidence, simply because, as I said, when you see somebody that is your role model and you're thinking, wow, you're a stunning black woman, and your mom's stunning too, and they make it look so easy, don't they? Because I know that for me, modelling is a skill, but when growing up, you just want to be like your role models. You see them, in their beautiful clothes on the catwalk, and you're thinking, yes, I want to aspire to be like them. So it does sort of knock your confidence when you're told, no, sorry, you're too big, and you look at yourself and think, well, I was never, really, really big. I guess I've always been curvaceous. So yeah, it did have a knock-on effect on my confidence, if I'm honest.
So what made you get to this age now and think, well, actually, yeah, I'm going to give it a go, I'm going for it?
I guess I've just thought to myself, everyone keeps saying to you, oh, Alison, you're stunning, you've got great cheekbones, you've got great this, you've got great that. And it just got to the stage where I wasn't really being fulfilled in my permanent profession anymore. you know, the recruiting side of it was great. You know, you make some great money, you know, win some great incentives. But I've always said to myself, if you're doing a job and you're no longer enjoying it, then it's time to find something else.
Yeah.
So I just thought to myself, let me just give it one more crack with the whip. And I think what really inspired me was that you're seeing society's changing very slowly. So you're seeing plus size women who are more like you now in the industry. So it just made me think to myself, okay, you know, society's changing. It's no longer all about size 0. You're getting, you know, some curvaceous women that are doing the modelling. You know, you have people then like Tyra Banks, and sort of, you know, curvy sort of black models. So it makes you think, okay, let me give it a go. And then you're thinking to yourself, well, you know, I'm 47, but I don't really look it. People keep telling me that I look a lot younger.
You do look younger.
And there's no Botox, it's all natural. So I thought to myself, you know what? Let me give it one more shot of the dice. And if, you know, if it doesn't work out, then at least I've given it another go.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what made me think to myself, I'm going to do it now, because
I love that. I love that you made this conscious decision to seek out something that you're really passionate about, because I think it's really common for women that get to kind of 45, 46 and do start feeling really unsettled and not happy with what they're doing. They might have been doing it for 20 years, and
definitely.
You know, I think it is a real time for reinvention, and I think it's an exciting time.
No, definitely. And you know, it's good to see, you know, people like you, you know, stunning, you know, a lot older. You know, you're only like what, 3 years older than me. You've forged yourself a successful modelling career, so you are going to continue to inspire me just to keep going, because you know, we're not that far apart, if you see what I mean. You know, you see like Hollywood A-listers and you're thinking, you know, I'm just an everyday person. So yeah, you continue to inspire me to think, yeah, I'm definitely
thank you. I do think there's a lot more women out there that are modelling of our age groups that are really relatable, and I think that's the difference to us, and I think it's really important that we keep seeing that. So do you think there has been a shift, even since in the last kind of 8 months that you've started modelling? Have you seen a shift in people's attitudes in the fashion industry to using older models, curvier models, black models? Do you think we're heading in the right direction?
If I'm going to be honest, I would say since the Black Lives Matter movement, I would say there's been a lot more tokenism.
Yeah.
And basically what I mean by that is that there are so many different shades of black women. You know, you've got your mixed race black woman, you've got your, you know, your really dark skinned black women. So I would say that there's been a slight shift, but it's still too early to say yet whether or not that's going to be a permanent thing, or whether it's just companies just saying to themselves, you know, Black Lives Matter, you know, let's just throw in, you know, a black person. But when you look at it, the type of black people they're picking have a certain look about them. And what I mean by that, for example, is that I suppose society makes you think, and I'm a victim of it myself, I guess. Society makes you think, oh, you know, you've got to have your hair relaxed, you know, to try and blend in. And it shouldn't be like that. You know, if you've got an afro, you know, you should be able to rock it, and you should be able to rock it with confidence. So I guess in answer to your question, since I've started, I've seen you know, I'm not going to lie, I have seen a few more black women on companies' websites. But we just need to see how long that's actually going to stay there for. But as I said, if you look at them, they are of a certain type of look. You know, people like Alex Weck to me are stunning black models, and they're sort of really, you know, strong features and that really dark complexion. But the models that they're picking, as I said, they are, you know, they're a lot lighter. Because society makes you think that if you don't look like Beyonce, who's got that light, you know, that light complexion, that you're not attractive. And I think that's, for me, the frustrating thing about it, because in Destiny's Child, if you look at the group, you know, who's the most successful one? You know, the most successful one is Beyonce. When you've got, you know, you've got Kelly Rowland, you know, she's petite, she's dark, but she's still stunning. You've got Michelle Williams, you know, she's again, you know, really dark, but she's still stunning. But the one that's more relatable to Black, white, Chinese is Beyonce.
That's so true, and I hadn't thought about it like that. And then, you know, those other women in the band are so talented as well. Yeah,
exactly.
Is that one of the reasons that made you want to become an ambassador for Models of Diversity then?
Yes, I think for me, what I loved was the fact that, you know, Angel Sinclair, who's the CEO for Models of Diversity, you know, she used to be her model herself. You know, she's 58, and again, she looks amazing, you know, for 58. And the fact that when she was modeling, for her, there was not enough diversity. So, you know, I think that's one of the reasons why I'm passionate, and I'm glad that I have recently been selected to be an ambassador for Models of Diversity, because it represents what I'm about. You know, Models of Diversity is a registered charity that is aimed at making more diversity in the media industry, the advertising industry, and the fashion industry, because, you know, Angel saw that there was not enough of it. From her days when she was modeling, you know, there wasn't enough plus size models out there. There was definitely no models, you know, that had disabilities. No models that were, I guess, like yourselves, the older classic model. So that was one thing that she wanted to make sure that she changed. So yeah, I'm really passionate, especially being, as I said, 47 and just starting modeling. For me, I want, you know, even if it doesn't change now, I want to have people be able to look at me and be relatable. Because if you think about, you know, mature women, you know, the advertisers forget all about us, which is really frustrating. You know, brands want the next best thing, don't they? They want their younger model. And when you look at it, if you think about the fact that 93% of women in a household are between 40 to 60, we're the ones with the financial clout.
Exactly.
But advertisers, you know, do that? No, they want the younger sort of glamorous models. So if I can make a change, even in just one person's life, just so they have the confidence to say, you know what I mean, I want to be like Alison, or I want to be like Angel, or even like yourself, and that makes me think, yeah, I've done a good deed.
And I think it's about being part of the conversation, is it? Because unless we show up and try to pave the way and break some boundaries, then it doesn't happen. We need more people to keep doing it, and more people of of different diversities. So
definitely
we need us all to come together, which I think we are seeing a shift in that. I think there is a real sense of community now, of people that really do want to make change, which I think is exciting.
Definitely see that Models of Diversity worked with Misguided, and the fact that, you know, they did a casting competition, and they had 2,500 people that applied. They selected 7, and for me, what was inspiring is that you had, you know, a transgender in the campaign. You had a plus size model. You had a mature model. You know, you had a model with alopecia. For me, that was just so amazing to see. And just the fact that, as I said, you can see that the society's changing, you know, very slowly. But for me, that was just like so inspirational to see, because, you know, even in a few years' time, you know, when people with alopecia see that campaign, they're going to be inspired and think, you know what, that model was stunning. You know, she didn't have, you know, hair, she was bald, but she went out and rocked her bald head and felt confident. They're going to have people that were, you know, that are, you know, in wheelchairs, that just show you that, you know, they're beautiful too, but society doesn't look at them in that way. So for me, as I said, that was just amazing to see that.
Really groundbreaking. And I think it's so important, because what I really struggle with is the fact that the fashion industry and the media don't seem to realise the impacts on our mental well-being that the lack of representation can cause. Because like you said, people with alopecia or people with disabilities, they don't feel valued in society if they don't see themselves represented in society. Plus size women don't feel like they're good enough to fit in if they're not seen and recognised. Black women don't feel like they're valued in society if they're not out there in front of everybody. Why can't the industry see it when we can all see it? That's the thing that I find really hard to get my head around.
I think sometimes it's just, how can I put it? I think it's kind of a prejudice or lack of intelligence sometimes, because I think they know that they need to change it, but that, you know, nobody wants to be the first to do it, do they? You know, I think it's one of those ones where you're either a leader or a follower. It just needs to sort of, you know, think to themselves, you know what, I'm going to stand up and make a difference. So yeah, I just think sometimes it's just, I think they're all too scared, if I'm honest with you, just to say to themselves, I'm going to be the groundbreaker. I'm going to be the, you know, the organisation that makes a difference.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see which one comes first, because somebody will break.
Yeah, definitely. I think definitely, you know, eventually it will happen.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be watching to see, okay, which brand is the first one to do it? Because as I said, you know, especially at the moment with all the Black Lives Matter, you know, you saw companies putting the black square up, and you know, you didn't see anything about it again. So for me, you just need to make sure that if they're making that brand, you know, that change, that they do a really, really good job.
Yeah. And how comfortable are you now kind of putting yourself out there in the spotlight and you know, putting this message out there? Have you always been this confident, or is this something that's come with age?
No, I think it's something that's come with age. I think it's, you know, growing up, you know, as I said, in terms of like the area that I was from, you know, my parents wanted the best for me. So it was a case of, you know, you lived in an all white area. And I guess for me, it was like they wanted the nice things for you. So confidence is something that as I'm getting older, then I've had to be a little bit more confident. And you can't be a recruiter and not have confidence, because you need to be able to knock on the doors and say, hello, you know, I've got this great candidate, you know, they're available tomorrow. This is what they do. And if you're sort of like really kind of timid and on the phone selling to people, they just don't buy it. They don't believe you. So confidence is definitely something that's come with age. But as I said, now I've just thought to myself, you know what, you only get one life. You know, I was going to look this way. So I thought to myself, let me try it now. What's the worst that can happen? Companies will say to me, Alison, I don't want to sort of sponsor you, or I don't want to, you know, work with you. What's the worst that can happen?
Exactly. Well, at least you'll have tried it, and you'll have had the experiences that you've had along the way.
Exactly. So, you know, I'm going to keep it on.
Brilliant.
So if
how confident are you in front of the camera then? How easy has it been to transfer that confidence when you're in front of the camera?
If I'm not going to lie to you, it hasn't been easy. I think the good thing about it for me is that I've started doing it with, I guess, friends first and foremost, people that I feel comfortable with, so that they can kind of tell me, oh, Alison, you know, don't do that or don't do this. And so I've got a few sort of, you know, I've done a few sort of TFPs and a few sort of, you know, paid jobs where, luckily for me, the photographer's been quite understanding and friendly. So I think at the end of the day, if you've got a great photographer, somebody that makes you feel comfortable, makes you sort of believe in yourself, and then shows you the pictures, and it's like, wow, okay, I did all right. I did all right. So yeah, I mean, I do want to eventually sort of, you know, be like you and be sort of like more confident and just rocking the sort of, you know, the je ne sais quoi underwear and stuff and lingerie. But I think, you know, that will come in time, isn't it? I'm at that stage where I want to kind of try and come outside of my comfort zone. But yeah, I think if you've got a great photographer and a great team around you, then I just think it sort of grounds you, gives you that sort of confidence basically to take it to the next stage.
Definitely, I think it is. I think, you know, I didn't have a clue what I was doing when I first went for some of the first jobs that I did. And I think, like you say, once you can see the photographs that have come out of that shoot and that you can do it, and take direction, then your confidence grows each time you do it. And, you know, I'm still learning 4 years on. I'm still learning new things about positions and posing and lighting, all that kind of stuff. And I think it's just something that you will just grow into.
Yeah, no, I agree, definitely. As I said, you know, for me, I think, you know, if the photographer is friendly and warm and engaging, I think you bounce off each other with ideas, you know, because, you know, some of the photographers that I've worked with, you know, they want your input as well, and they want you to feel comfortable. So yeah, I think for me, that's the sort of thing that I enjoy, really. If you work together as a team, then you'll find that, you know, the shoot is more successful because you're both comfortable. They don't see you being like too precious to do it. And you don't think that they're like a really horrible photographer either, you know. So yeah, definitely the confidence I think is coming more and more and more.
And you've really kind of thrown yourself into the role of ambassador of Models of Diversity. So what kind of projects have you got lined up so far with them?
Yeah, so I think for me, in terms of throwing myself in, yes, definitely, because it's something I'm passionate about and something that I want to be successful with. So I guess the first thing I did really was sort of scream and shout about it and just go to my local newspaper and say, look, I'm an ambassador now for Models of Diversity and this is what it represents. So that to me was again, coming out of my comfort zone and thinking to myself, oh my God. The most exciting thing, as I said, that I've done already is that I've launched a Move for Mod initiative. So that's taking place at Alexandra Palace on Sunday the 22nd. So myself and a fellow ambassador, we're going to be socially distancing, but we're going to be walking 5 km. All the proceeds will go to Models of Diversity. But again, because it is for the charity and not everybody has got the same sort of capabilities as we have, we're calling it Move for Mod. So any of our ambassadors and anybody else out there that wants to participate, they can do. And what we're doing is basically we're saying as long as you move and you do your 5 km, you can do it basically in your chair, you can do it at home if you're social distancing. Or if you wanted to, then you can walk in your own surroundings as long as you do your 5 kms. You've obviously got to nominate 5 people and then contribute. You can contribute anything really from £5 or as much as you can afford. And then if you want to be on the website or on our social campaigns, you just take a picture of your donation and then send it in to us, and you'll be on our gram and our Facebook page as well, because again, that's to really inspire models that want to see reputation of themselves in society. And then we've got some exciting things that we're doing next year, but we just need to get rid of COVID first so that we can roll them out. But there's going to be some exciting things that we're doing over at the MOD, so I'm really quite excited about that as well.
How have you found lockdown and COVID? Because obviously you've launched this new career and it's something that really could have taken off a lot quicker this year, but then COVID comes along and lockdown. How has that affected you? Have you managed to keep positive? How have you kind of looked after yourself during this time?
Yeah, I think for me, I'm not going to lie, it was very sort of challenging, especially at the beginning, because as I said, I signed with a couple of agencies and then COVID kicked in. So it's like, oh my God, what a time now just to sort of have COVID. But I think for me, it's just making sure that you keep in touch, with your agencies, letting them know that you're, still available. For me, it's all about, going out there and doing my exercises, because when you're you're in the house 24/7, it can be quite sort of soul destroying. Yeah. So I think for me, it's about speaking to family and friends. It's going out and doing my exercises, and doing your shoots as safely as you can, just so you can keep up your confidence and you can keep practicing in front of the camera. Yeah. And as I said, for me, it's been quite exciting, kind of being in lockdown, especially being an ambassador for, the MOD. Just basically means that I can think about, brands that I want to try and tackle, campaigns that I want to try and put together. Because obviously I'm in the house. Excuse how I read it. So yeah, it's just trying to come up with little, ideas and things like that, of brands that aren't doing enough that need to be doing stuff. So.
Who would be your ideal brand, Alison? Who would be your kind of dream brand to work with?
I mean, older model, I would basically say, let me see, a brand that I think somebody like Vera Wang, I think, or even Burberry, actually.
Yeah.
And there's some great names that have been, established, that I'm thinking, yes, if I could sort of get a campaign with them, then, I'd be very, very happy.
I love that. Aim high. That's what I like.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I believe in too.
I would absolutely love to do a Dolce & Gabbana.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely.
That would be my dream.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Definitely. To aim high.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you've got to start somewhere, isn't it? And I think if the higher you aim, then even if you don't get as high as you wanted, you're going to be a lot higher than if you were aiming low. So definitely.
And let's talk about the size. Are you a size 14, 16?
Yeah, well, basically, in terms of, I guess, I'm your typical hourglass. So on the top, I'm a size 12, but on the bottom, I'm a 14 to 16, depending on the brand. So yeah, that's why I guess I fall into the plus size.
That's what I really would like to talk to you about, because it's so crazy, isn't it, that we describe that size as plus size when we think the average size of a woman in the UK is a size 16.
Yeah.
Why are we still stuck in this narrative of seeing that anybody over size 12 is a plus size, when really I think of a size plus size is like a size 18.
Yes.
And that's really cool, isn't it, to fit in to the industry.
Exactly. I think that's one of the things I've struggled with at the moment as well, because when people automatically look at me, they automatically think, oh, you're only a size 10, or, you know what I mean? And when I used to shop in a certain brand that I love, I used to go in there all the time, and I used to say to the ladies, oh, can you show me like a size 16? Because I've got long arms and long legs. So even if the jacket might be a little bit big, then I have to go for the 16 because that's what fits my arms. And the ladies, they used to look at me and say, no, I'm not going to give you a size 16, you're a 10. So I used to look at them and laugh and say, no, trust me, actually not. And then just to humour them, I'd like try on the size 10. They look at me and go, oh my God. But you know, you think to yourself, I know my body, please don't tell me what size I am. So yeah, I just think it's a bit, I just want society just to, I guess, you know, come together in unison, because like you say, you know, people get demoralised and demotivated when they think of themselves as a plus size model. When, you know, they might be like a 12 or 14, but they're categorised and put into that category, which is, you know, really, really frustrating.
Yeah, I feel sorry for them, that the bigger women that have the size 18 plus, that are the plus size, that actually are that size, and that's the size they should be representing for plus size women, and they get overlooked because they'll go and book somebody that's a size 14, 16 and call them plus size, instead of actually using the bigger women that are there waiting and waiting to be booked. It's really frustrating.
No, definitely. And I think, you know, how can you, as a plus size model, for example, that's somebody that's 18, you know, how can people that are size 18 in society, you know, how can they see themselves through that person if they're using, you know, size 12 or 14 models? And I think that's one of the reasons why I want to make a change if I can, because, you know, if somebody's a size 12, they should be able to look at a model that's size 12 and relate to them. You know, size 18, how can you relate to somebody that's a size 14 or a 12? You can't, can you? So there just needs to be some kind of correlation where, you know, people who are that size or that age can relate to other people like them.
Completely.
And that's really what, you know, you know, I know it's not going to happen overnight, but that's one thing I want to change, because, you know, people should be able to look at you and I and be able to relate to us because of our age. People should be able to look at a plus size model that's a size 22 or 24 and be able to relate to them. Somebody should be able to look at somebody that's, you know, got a disability, whether that's, you know, a missing arm or missing leg, and be able to relate to that person. So society's got a long way to go.
Yeah, it really has. I look forward to the day when everybody is represented as a standard without it having to be something that's even a topic of conversation. And I'm sure we will get there, but like I said, I think there's a long way to go. How do you feel about aging then? Because, you know, we were how do you feel about, you know, 3 more years you'll be 50? Does it bother something you're conscious of?
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I think everybody's conscious of it to some degree. And if anybody says they're not conscious of it, I don't know, I'm not sure. As somebody that has now just recently turned 47, I am getting conscious of it. I'm not going to lie. But I'm just trying to embrace it. See myself and say, because I think 40 is the new 50, they say, isn't it? So, you know, so yes, I am trying to embrace it. And just, I guess, at the moment, because I see myself, I still look at myself and think, okay, you know, I look 30 or whatever. So, you know, I do think I'm wearing well, but it's just it's just the mindset, isn't it? You've got to think to yourself, okay, 3 years time I'm going to be 50, but 50 is the new 40, so
It
you
is.
just
It
embrace
is.
it as you can until it's all starting to sag. And
Yeah,
yeah,
and I think it is difficult because our bodies do change as we go in our 40s and 50s, because we've got the perimenopause and the menopause, and there's quite often things in our bodies that are changing that we can't actually control.
yeah,
But I think it is about just having that different attitude and changing the narrative in your head and just accepting the changes, but then working on the things that you can control to make you feel better about yourself, I think.
exactly. And I think the most important thing really is something that I'm learning to do more and more, is to try and be comfortable in your own skin as well. I think that's one thing that's really important, because at the end of the day, as long as you love yourself, then, you know, I think the rest basically just falls into place.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where, you know, you might look and say, okay, I'm nearly going to be 50, but, you know, I still love myself. So I think that's one thing that people need to embrace as well. I think it's just, you know, if you, just loving yourself really and believing in yourself.
Yeah.
Because as I said, you know, there's some great models out there that, you know, are rocking it well. And
There really are some amazing models in their 60s and 70s, and I look at them and think, well, that's what I want to be doing at their
exactly.
age. Yeah.
Exactly. So, you know, I think as a woman, I think you just need to embrace it, because the guys do it all the time. If you look at all the rockers, you know, like the Mick Jaggers and stuff like that, you know, how old are they? And they're still sort of, you know, rocking it. They've got their young, you know, ladies on their arms and stuff. So I just think you just need to embrace it, because it's going to happen regardless. There's nothing you can do. And like you said, it's nothing that you can control. So I just think that you just need to embrace it and just get on with it, really.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing where you go next year and what you get up to.
Oh, thank you.
Lots of exciting jobs booked. How do you, so women are really bad at accepting compliments. We always brush it off and bat it aside and try and make a joke of it. So if you were to give yourself a compliment, Alison, what would it be?
I think for me, it would be my cheekbones, because it's something that I've been quite fortunate to have. You know, people always sort of like say, you know, you've got lovely high cheekbones, or you've got lovely features and stuff like that. So I think if I was to compliment myself, it would either be that, or again, I'm quite fortunate in the sense that, you know, some people might have to go to the gym sort of every single day. I mean, I do take my body for granted as well. So, you know, I think my body's still, I think I've got a pretty good body as well. So I think my body and my cheekbones, really,
Perfect.
if I was to compliment myself, yeah.
Fabulous. How can people find out about you? Where can they find you?
So I'm on Instagram, and it's Alison Williams 4617. So yeah, they can find me on Instagram, definitely.
And how have you found Instagram and social media? Because now you are having to put yourself out there and do more model things and promote yourself and self-promote yourself. Is that something that you're comfortable with?
I mean, I am getting better, because literally I've only recently, I'd say, since I've been doing the modelling, started my Instagram. I mean, I used to have an Instagram page, but didn't really do anything about it. And then people tell you, oh, you know, they need to see your shots or your photos and stuff. So I then started doing the Instagram. So it's still got a long way to go, but definitely I'm getting a bit more confident. And then also I'm just trying to do a YouTube channel as well, which is called Allison's Fashion Hauls. And that's about sort of, I guess, doing clothes to inspire women with curves as well. So anybody who's struggling, or, you know, when you go shopping, again, when you're, especially now in lockdown, because you can't go into the shops to try on the clothes.
Yeah.
So I've just started like a YouTube channel,
And
which
what's
is,
that called?
that's called Allison's Fashion Hauls.
Brilliant.
So that's it's about inspiring women with curves to try on different clothes that they might not necessarily think would suit them in their shape. And so that I just did that because, for me, you know, there are other women out there that do have like the small waist and then the big sort of, you know, booty and big hips as well. So it's just to basically get them out of their comfort zone to try that as well. So social media, I'm getting there slowly but surely. You know, I'm not to your level yet, because, as I said, I've seen your podcast and your editing and things like that, and it looks amazing. But I'm getting there slowly. So yeah.
Thank you. Well, I shall look forward to your progress. And how can people find out about models of diversity as well?
So in terms of models of diversity, we've got the web page, which is called Models of Diversity. So there's that. We're also on Twitter, and we're also on Facebook as well. So if you, just Google Models of Diversity, then you'll see us. But I definitely think for anybody that doesn't know about Models of Diversity, you should definitely, look into it. Because as I said, it's an amazing charity. And as I said, it's starting to make a difference. So yeah, anybody who doesn't know about Models of Diversity, definitely, check us out. And we're open to new ideas as well. So if you think there's anything that we're not doing, then the charity is definitely open to doing that as well. But yeah.
Well, I think they've got a fabulous ambassador in you, Alison, and I'm really pleased that you've joined forces, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you get up with too with diversity, because I think it's a brilliant charity and it's really needed. So well done. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And hopefully, you never know, next year we might get a chance to work together.
No, definitely. I would really love that, Rachel, because as I said, to me, you inspire me, and I'm glad that you've given myself and Models of Diversity this platform. As I said, I'm really enjoying what I'm doing, and even if I can just inspire one person to sort of believe in themselves and be like you and I, just to sort of that will just make my day. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
That's been lovely to connect with you. Take care of yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Well, that was a great chat with Alison, and it was lovely to connect with her. And if you're not watching this on YouTube and you're listening to the podcast, I can't describe Alison's cheekbones other than absolutely gorgeous. She's a really beautiful woman, and I'm really glad that we've connected. So please go check out Models of Diversity. It's a brilliant organisation, particularly if you're something that you're passionate about and making sure that we are represented in society and that you want to find people that you can relate to. So please go check out Models of Diversity charity, and Alison as well. And I'll put all the links in the notes afterwards, but in the meantime, keep being fabulous.